those numbers. In his first 8 years in the league, he was no worse than third for 8 years in a row, and won it 3 times. He was an all-star all 8 times and won a Gold Glove. So if you have to have longevity in the equation, then he gets thrown back, and that's why he's not in the Hall of Fame, which to me is absurd. I mean, I think was he a dominant player at his position in his era? Well, maybe one of the most.
Yes. One
of the greatest hitters of his generation. He proved it for 8 years and then got hurt and was never the same. But 8 years to me is enough. And so I think for me, Tony O will make him number 4 or 5, but he's in the top 5. And now you come down to Joe and Herbeck, and I don't think you can overstate what Kent Herbeck meant to the Twins organization over his career. I don't think you can overstate it. I don't think you can overstate the fact that a catcher won 3 batting titles and 2 or 3 Gold Gloves. I mean, who does that? I mean, Ernie Lombardi, I think, in the National League won a batting title as a catcher. Mm-hmm. No one's ever done it in the American League until Joe did it, and he did it 3 times.
Yep. And won an MVP one of those years.
And won an MVP and won 2 or 3, however many Gold Gloves. That just cements him in there, I think. I mean, I don't know what else a guy's got to do, and then he ends up getting hurt, but coming back and playing, Gold Glove caliber first base, and continues his ability incredible ability to hit for high batting average with runners in scoring position. I mean, and the on-base percentage, up above 350 or whatever it is, 380. I mean, you can't deny that. You just cannot deny it.
Right. I've looked up a couple of lists produced by other entities and organizations, and here's one that's pretty representative. Something called Ranker.com, greatest Twins of all time. They have Killebrew, Puckett, Carew, Oliva, Blyleven, Maurer, Herbeck, Torrey Hunter, Johan Santana, Frank Viola. That's their top 10.
Yeah, I think top 10 gets easier.
Yeah.
For me, it's harder for me to put the pitchers as high as everyday players, as good as the pitchers are, as important as they are. But certainly Blyleven, Santana, Viola, Jim Cott. If you start throwing pitchers in there, and those guys are right there. Just for me, it's a player first. It's kind of a most valuable player argument. I mean, it's just guys going out there every day. I think the everyday nature of the performance and total production is deserving of the first 5 spots, and in this case the first 6 spots. And I don't know that I'm willing to make 5 the arbitrary number. I say the top 3 guys: Killebrew, Puckett, Carew. Next 3 guys: Maurer, Herbeck, and Tonio. I mean, so.
That's a good way to do it.
Whatever you want.
Lists are so arbitrary. That's probably the best way to group the players. It's kind of like the NFL draft. They don't care so much about where somebody ranks as in what tier they are.
Right.
So that's a good way to do it. I had somebody ask me on Twitter today to remind them which tech company sponsors our programs, as they wanted to make a referral. And I told them Whizkids.tech, WHIZKIDS.tech, if you want to check out their website. If you want to reach out to them directly, it's hello@whizkidit.com. It's hello@WHIZKIDIT.com. They're right over there on 3rd Avenue North in downtown Minneapolis. They're easy to reach. It's a Minnesota born and bred company, as so many of our sponsors are. Michael Thannert had always listened to our podcast, wanted to be involved with the network, and we appreciate it. He sponsors a number of programs around the network. So if you need help if your business needs help with tech, they can help you. That's the simplest way to put it. I always get confused by all this stuff, so I need this kind of help, and I appreciate there are companies out there that can help with this stuff. You can put it all in the cloud. You can move simple applications to the cloud, move your entire infrastructure to the cloud, or you can collate a combination of either in a secure local data center And if you have a business, you probably know what all that stuff means. So check out Whizkids.tech.
Hello, Minnesota sports fans. This is Michael Fannert, founder and CEO of Whizkids. Whizkids is a Minneapolis-based managed IT, hosted VoIP, and cloud services provider. Businesses today require fast response times, skilled support staff, clear communication, and technology recommendations that align with their business goals. At Whizkids, we do this each and every day with our clients. When you call into our help desk for support or work with one of our higher-level engineers on a complex issue, you'll find our staff personable and ready to roll up their sleeves to help you solve your technology problems. Reach out to Whizkids today to find out how we can help your business meet your technology goals. Visit us online at Whizkids.tech. That's Whizkids.tech. Whizkids, make it happen.
All right, let's move on to something that's been bothering me, Roy. I've been thinking about the idea of an opener in Major League Baseball. And I understand that it might make some analytical sense. And I used to have conversations with managers and coaches, said, if you really want to screw up the opposing team, start a lefty, have him pitch an inning or two, and then bring in a right-hander. Mm-hmm. That's a great strategigical advantage if you can manage your pitching staff that way.
And have a left-hander in reserve then for the sixth or seventh.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Just bounce back and forth. It is strategically an intelligent way to approach a baseball game. But I think it's terrible for the game. And I think back to when I was, I'm in the business now. So I go to games when I'm looking for something to write. When I was a kid, I would say, okay, I get to go to a certain number of Oriole games or a certain number of Cardinal games. Man, I want to see Jim Palmer pitch. And I got to hope he's matched up against Catfish Hunter. That was the romance of the game. It's why you went to this game instead of another. It's why you went to an extra game. I want to see this pitching matchup. I want to see this pitcher, and I hope he pitches a complete game or maybe a no-hitter, or maybe at least gets it to the closer. And I want to see the two pitchers match wits and try to manage how they get through a game. Gabriel Moya might be a nice major league reliever at some point. I don't want to go watch him start a major league game. I don't.
I hear you. You can take great comfort in the fact that if the Twins ever come up with the next Jim Palmer, he won't be a primary or an opener. He'll be the starter. That only happens when a club has a concern about their starting pitching. And that's the only time it's ever going to happen. And it's born of the fact that after the number one or second number two starter, the analysts are looking at, this guy pitches pretty well for 5 innings, but in the 6th inning, the top of the order comes around and and the batting average against is 397.
Yep.
From then on. So we know he's going to go 5 innings. What if we rather than started him against the top of the order and had him finish against the top of the order? What if we started him against the bottom of the order? And if things go well, he'd pitch his 5 innings against and finish with the bottom of the order. And if we started somebody else and got out an inning or two, heck, we'd be through the 6 or 7 innings into our really good bullpen, and we would have given our less than ideal starting pitcher the very best chance of success. I get that.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense. I hate it too.
Yeah.
I don't like it. But the answer will not be don't allow the analysts to come up with stuff like this. The answer is come up with a good starting rotation and teach your guys in the minor leagues as they're coming up how to be good starters. That's our only hope, because otherwise they're going to look at the numbers and say, they're not going to come to Suhan and Smalley and say, you're right. It's not really great for the game, so we're not going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
they're going to shift on hitters,
right?
And they're going to pitch a guy that's got a chance to go 4 or 5 innings as a starter. They're going to give him the best chance of success. The one thing I will say I don't mind is I don't mind the Twins right now with young pitchers like Gonzalez and Cole Stewart having the game opened by somebody else and have them come in the game at a different spot in the lineup and with a little less pressure on them. as they get their feet underneath them in the big leagues. Now, the converse of that was expressed wonderfully succinctly and profanely by my buddy Danny Gladden, who says, they got to figure it out.
Yeah.
They have to figure out how to be a starter. And I'm not going to argue with Danny about that one. And even though I'm not going to repeat verbatim how he made that point, I
can hear it in my head.
You get the idea. And he's right.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks to Tony Hoaglund, your State Farm agent in Champlin. Tony, Hoaglund. I get my insurance through Tony. So does Michael Russo on the network. Use the app. Tony's very accessible. If you ever need to call him or reach his office, you can go to the website. And if you live in Champlin, he works it out of 11351 Aquila Drive. Otherwise, just go to the website. I can recommend him. Michael can recommend him. State Farm obviously has a huge name and is dealing with a lot of stuff with Hurricane Florence going on right now. I've seen Tony tweeting pictures about State Farm trucks heading into the area. Check out Tony Hoaglund, Hoaglund.
Hey, Minnesota sports fans. This is your local State Farm agent, Tony Hoaglund. I need you all to ask yourselves this question. If you're in an at-fault car accident and you are sued for $700,000, how much of that $700,000 will my current insurance company pay? If you are unsure or can't answer all $700,000, you need to give us a call. State Farm has been number one in car insurance since World War II and number one in homeowners insurance since 1964. For a no-obligation review of your current policies, call us at 763-421-4900 or check out our website at www.champlininsurance.com.
So as we get into September here and the games are pretty meaningless, who's caught your eye? Who, hitter, pitcher, whatever, has made you think this guy might be a part of the future?
I was happy to see Jorge Polanco come back and play well after sitting out 80 games. That's a lot of major league game experience to miss, and then come in, especially as a left-handed hitter, pick up pretty much where he left off, and he's gotten big hits again. And he's played reasonably well at shortstop. He's still got a ways to go there, but I've been pleased for him as far as position players. Mitch Garver's come a long way, both receiving and hitting. I don't know if he's the ultimate answer, but he has maybe made the most improvement of anybody on the Twins team from where he was 2.5 months ago to where he is today. Excellent job by him. Jake Cave is an interesting guy. He has made a case certainly for himself to be. He's a big league player. I think he's made the case that he's a big league player. Now, whether he's an everyday outfielder on this Twins team or a fourth outfielder here depends on Byron Buxton, and it depends on Max Kepler's continued improvement. But Jake Cave has been an interesting player. On the pitching side, I think the two best things that I've seen have come in the form of Taylor Rogers, getting right-hand hitters out. He's dominant against left-handers. He's had trouble with right-handers. He's doing a great job against right-handers now. And were that to continue, I think he's a solid late inning left-hander. That's an exciting development that he might be that good. And Trevor Hildenberger coming back, and after now being around the league quite a bit, people know what he has. It's not overpowering stuff. It's just overpowering back and forth in terms of fastball changeup. He went through a little blip when the good hitters, especially in Cleveland, were sitting on his changeup. His changeup is so good, nobody can hit it. And then Francisco Lindor said, "Oh yeah, watch this. I'm going to sit on it," and beat him a couple of times with home runs and extra base hits because he just went up and said, "I'm just going to sit here and wait for that thing to flop up here at 79 miles an hour." And to Hildenberger's credit, he went right back to the fastball, and he throws 90, 89, 90, and just started throwing that sinker in there. It doesn't take long for hitters to say, "Oh, wait, you're going to throw... Okay, forget it. I didn't know that. You're going to throw me fastballs. I'm going to get back on that." And then they start swinging and missing the changeup again. So he made a really nice in-season adjustment to to how the hitters